Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unity Mechanics Lab. Today's tutorial is going to be a little different from our previous videos. Usually, we recreate gameplay mechanics inspired by AAA games. But today, we're going to build something that's equally useful for professional game development. We'll learn how to switch between multiple bake lighting scenarios completely at runtime. Surprisingly, very few tutorials cover this topic in depth, even though it's extremely useful. This technique can be used in lots of different situations, for example, day and night transitions, turning lights on and off inside buildings, power outage effects in horror games, or simply creating beautiful lighting while keeping your game highly optimized for mobile devices. So without wasting any time, let's get started. I've already prepared everything to keep this tutorial focused on the bake lighting system itself. Our scene contains two directional lights, one for daylight and other for moonlight. And few point lights as well. At the moment, I only enabled the daylight. The nightlight is disabled. We'll bake each lighting scenario separately and later swap between them entirely through code. Now let's quickly talk about one important setting. You'll notice that my directional light is set to baked. This means Unity calculates all the lighting information during the baking process, instead of calculating it every frame while the game is running. The result will be much lower GPU and CPU usage compared to real-time lighting. That's exactly why baked lighting is so popular in mobile games. You get high-quality lighting with excellent performance. And now let's open Unity's lighting settings. These settings control how Unity generates and stores our baked lighting. You don't need to copy every single value exactly, but there are a few important settings that you should understand. First, baked global illumination is enabled. This tells Unity to generate the baked lighting that we can later reuse. For the lighting mode, I'm using baked indirect. This gives us realistic indirect lighting while keeping everything pre-computed. And as for the light mapper, I'm using progressive GPU. If your graphics card supports GPU baking, this will bake significantly faster. Otherwise, you can simply use progressive CPU. My light map resolution is set to 128 texels per unit. Higher values produce sharper shadows and better lighting quality. However, they also increase bake time and memory usage. For directional mode, I'm using non-directional since this tutorial only needs color. Non-directional is completely sufficient. If your project uses directional mode, you'll also need to swap the directional light maps at runtime. The remaining settings mainly affect baking quality and performance. You can tweak these depending on the visual quality you're aiming for. Before generating the light maps, we need to tell Unity which environment objects should contribute to baked global illumination. So I'll select the environment because it's completely static and make sure we have enabled contribute global illumination. This allows Unity to include these objects while calculating bounce light, shadows, and indirect illumination. Only mark objects that will remain stationary. Moving objects, characters, doors, and vehicles should generally not be included in the baked environment. We're ready to generate our first daytime light maps, but first let me clear the previously baked data. Let's click on Generate Lighting button. Depending on the complexity of your scene and your hardware, this may take anywhere from a few seconds to several minutes. Now wait for the Unity to completely bake the lights. Now that the bake has finished, Unity has generated all the baked light maps inside a folder. Let's verify that our lighting is actually baked. I'll disable the day directional light. Notice that even though the light source is now turned off, our scene is still fully illuminated. That's because the lighting information has already been baked into the light maps. Instead of calculating lighting in real time, Unity is simply reading the pre-computed lighting data stored inside those baked light maps. This is exactly why baked lighting is so efficient and is widely used in mobile games and performance-critical projects. Let's check our light maps. Unity has generated all the baked light maps inside this folder. These textures contain all the baked lighting information for our daytime scene. And now, this next step is extremely important. Before baking another lighting scenario, we need to preserve these light maps. So I'll duplicate the entire baked lighting folder. This copy will store our daytime light maps. If we don't duplicate it, Unity will overwrite these textures during the next bake. And now I'll rename this copy to daylight so it's easy to identify it later. Now let's prepare the nighttime lighting. So let's enable the night directional light along with viewpoint lights. You can also adjust its intensity, color, or rotation to create a completely different mood. And I also changed the skybox as well. Now, before baking new light, let's clear our current bake data. Notice that the bake lighting immediately disappears from the scene, along with bake data from the project as well. This is because Unity is no longer using those light maps. However, our duplicated daylight folder is still safely stored in the project window. That's exactly why creating these copies is so important. It preserves our bake lighting so we can load it again later through code. Now we'll bake the scene one more time. This will generate an entirely new set of baked light maps. Once this bake finishes, we'll have 2 complete lighting scenarios. Now our bake is finished. Let's disable the night lights. After disabling night lights, as you can see, our scene remains lit. That's because all of the lighting has already been baked into the light maps. And let's check our night scenario light maps. Unity has generated all the baked light maps inside this old folder. And we still have daylight data as well. Now that both lighting scenarios are ready, it's time for the interesting part. First, I'll create an empty game object in the hierarchy and name this as Bake Light Manager. This object will control which baked lighting scenario is currently active. And after that, now I'll create a new C# script and name it Bake Light Manager. Then I'll attach it to the Bake Light Manager game object. And now let's open up the script. First of all, I'm going to remove start and update, and we'll add start method again when it's needed. And now, before writing the manager logic, we first need a clean way to store the data for each lighting scenario. For example, our daytime setup needs its own light map textures and skybox. And our nighttime setup needs a different set of light maps and a different skybox. So instead of creating separate variables for day and night, we'll create one reusable data class. So for that, let's create a serializable class inside this script. First, let's add system.serializable attribute. And now make another class, let's say public class bakelight data. Normally, a regular C# class will not automatically appear inside the Unity inspector. By making it serializable, Unity can display all the variables inside this class. That means we can create an array of lighting scenarios and configure every scenario directly from the inspector. So one element can represent day, another can represent night, and later we could add sunset, emergency lighting, power outage, or any other lighting setup. First, I'll create a string. Let's create public string current time. This is only a descriptive name for the scenario. For example, we can write day, night, evening, or horror lighting. It helps us identify each array element inside the inspector. Next, we need an array for our light map color textures. Let's create public texture 2D array light map color textures. These are the main baked light map textures generated by Unity. Each scene may generate multiple light maps. So we use an array instead of a single texture. Later, we'll convert these textures into Unity light map data objects. Next, I'll create an optional second texture array for directional light map textures. Let's create public texture 2D array light map directional color textures. It is only required if the lighting was baked using directional mode. Since my current setup uses non-directional lighting, this array can remain empty, but including it makes the system compatible with both lighting modes. Finally, we need an array of light map data. Let's create public light map data array light map data. Unity cannot directly apply a normal texture 2D array to the scene. It expects an array of light map data objects. So at runtime, we'll create these objects, assign our color textures to them, and then send a complete array to Unity's Lightmap setting. And that completes our serializable data class. Now, every lighting scenario can store its own name color, light maps, optional directional light maps, and runtime light map data. And now back to our main manager class. First, we need an integer that stores the currently selected lighting scenario. So let's create serialized field, private, int, current time scenario. This is because arrays use indexes. 0 will represent our first scenario, and 1 will represent the second. And for this tutorial, 0 will be day and 1 will be night. If we later add more scenarios, the same system will continue working. Next, we'll create an array of our bakelite data class. Let's create serialized field private bakelite data array bakelights. This is because the class is serializable. Unity will display each lighting scenario inside this array. Now let's create the main method responsible for applying a lighting scenario. Let's create private void set lights and pass in current scenario. This method receives the index of the scenario we want to activate. For example, if we pass 0, if we load the first lighting setup. If we pass 1, it will load the second setup. Inside this method, first we'll loop through all the lighting scenarios stored in our array. And then inside the loop, we'll compare each index with the scenario selected by the player. Let's check if I equals current scenario. If the current loop index matches the selected scenario, we know this is the lighting setup we need to apply. Now, first of all, we need to create a new light map data array for the current scenario. Let's say bakelights i.lightmapData equals new light map data. And size will be bakelights i.lightmapColorTextures.length. The size of this array must match the number of color light map textures. So if Unity generated 16 light maps, this array will also contain 16 elements. At this stage, the array exists, but every individual element is still empty. Now we create another loop. This inner loop goes through every individual light map texture inside the selected scenario. The outer loop chooses the lighting scenario, and this inner loop processes every light map belonging to that scenario. And now for each texture, we'll create a new light map data object. Let's say bakelight i.lightmapData equals new light map data. This object acts as a container for Unity's baked color and directional light maps. Now we'll assign the current color light map texture to light map data. Let's say bakelights i.lightmapData j.lightmapColor equals bakelights i.lightmapColor textures j. Now here we assign the actual baked color texture to the current light map data object. Next, we check whether directional light maps are available. Let's check if bakelights i.lightmap directional color textures not null, and j is less than bakelights i.lightmap directional color textures dot length. Here first, the directional texture array must not be null. Then we check whether the current texture index exists inside that array. If the directional texture exists, we'll assign it to the lightmap dir field just like we did uColor textures. Let's say bakelights i.lightmapData j.lightmapDR equals bakelights i.lightmap directional color textures j. If you baked your lighting using non-directional mode, this entire section is simply skipped. And now, outside of this inner loop, we can apply the complete array to the scene. Let's say lightmap settings dot lightmaps equals bakelights i dot lightmap data. This is the line that actually switches the bake lighting. We replace Unity's currently active light maps with the light maps stored inside the selected lighting scenario. After switching the light maps, we tell Unity to update the environment lighting. Let's say dynamic gi.update environment. This refreshes environment-related lighting, such as ambient reflections and skybox-based illumination. Finally, we'll assign the skybox connected to the selected lighting scenario. But first, let's create a material for skybox in bakelite data class. Let's create public material sky and switch the skybox here. Let's say render settings dot skybox equals bakelite's eye dot sky. And that completes the selected lighting scenario. And now we need to apply the initial lighting setup when the game starts. So let's create start method and call the setLight method in start and pass current scenario in it. Now let's create a public function that switches to the next lighting setup. We'll later connect this method to a UI button. First, we'll increase the current scenario index by 1. So 0 becomes 1, and the system switches from day to night. Now we check whether the index has moved beyond the size of our lighting array. We'll reset it back to 0. Finally, we call setLights method again using the updated scenario index. This loads the new Lightmaps in Skybox immediately. Back to Unity. And let's create the day and night elements inside the array. And lock the inspector to assign the correct light maps. First, for daylight, select all light maps from project window and drag and drop them in days array. And now for the night light, select all light maps from project window and drag and drop them in night array. And finally, connect the switch light method to our button. Before entering play mode, the scene was displaying the last lighting setup we baked, which was our nighttime lighting. However, inside the Bakelite Manager, the current lighting scenario index is set to 0. In our setup, index 0 represents the daytime lighting scenario. So as soon as the game starts, the manager loads the daytime light maps and applies the matching daytime skybox. As you can see, both of our directional light objects are disabled, but the environment still has complete lighting. That's because the scene is using the pre-baked light map data instead of calculating lighting from active real-time lights. Now, if I press the switch light button, the scenario index moves to the next element. And as you can see, the complete environment instantly changes to our nighttime baked lighting setup. The system replaces the active light maps and also updates the skybox to match the selected scenario. If I press the button again, the index loops back to 0 and restores the daytime lighting. So now we can switch between multiple pre-baked lighting scenarios completely at runtime, while keeping the scene optimized for mobile and performance-focused games. That's it for this episode of Unity Mechanics Lab. If you found this tutorial useful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know which Unity mechanic or optimization system you'd like to see next.